Did you know there was a spinoff of MASH? It's called
No.
After MASH.
Shut up.
True story.
The fuck?
And the Golden Palace for Golden Girls. I didn't know that either.
That sounds like it takes place in a Chinese restaurant.
There's a spinoff of Friends called Joey, and I don't care about either one of them.
No. At least it wasn't Joey from Blossom. Whoa.
Whoa, Jinx. And the Cheers had a spinoff called The Tortellis and Galactica 1980, a Battlestar Galactica spinoff. Have you seen that?
No, that was a thing?
It's a thing. It's a show with a lighter tone, lower budget, and a confusing premise.
Oh, sounds like Peter Chris's solo albums.
Rip and destroy!
Welcome, everybody, to Rip and Destroy episode 22. I am TJ, and that is my buddy Mike over there.
Hello.
And tonight we are talking about extracurricular KISS activities or spin-offs or whatever you want to call them. We're talking about the solo work and side projects of KISS members. And boy, howdy, there are a lot of them. I spent the better part of at least the last 3 weeks listening to a lot of records, some of them against my will, but damn it. We're givers, and we're going to give you our opinions on many, if not all, of these KISS side projects from the likes of Paul and Gene and Bruce and Eric and the other Eric and Peter, Chris and Ace and all of our friends in and out of makeup.
There was a couple surprises for me. There's a couple records that I did not think I'd like as much as I did. So it's going to be
Yeah,
fun to
same.
explore that.
And also a couple of records that I expected to like more than I did as well. So
I think I have a few of those. So
yeah.
right on.
So you got anything to talk about up front here, buddy?
So many great things to talk about. I think that vinyl tag is the gift that just keeps right on giving. It really is. We had a great comment on our Vinyl Tag episode from Winston7777 who saw my Sammy Davis shirt and said that he actually saw Sammy Davis in concert, and I'm crazy jealous. I think that Sammy is the most talented man to ever walk the planet. So thank you for the comment. That was very cool. And we're really close to 1,000 views on YouTube for that episode. So I can't help thinking if we hit 1,000, we need to celebrate that somehow. So we can either do one of two things. I'm proposing we do a bonus episode, or we release the unedited, uncensored interview with our wives.
We might do that anyways because it was pretty hilarious. I don't know. I mean, considering that was a bonus episode, would that be a bonus on top of a bonus? That's like a double bonus
It's
episode.
it's like bonus in stereo.
Yeah, I don't know. Last time I looked at the stats, it was at 991 views, which is far and beyond anything we've ever done before. So thank you all very much for watching that. So yeah, I don't know if we hit 1,000, maybe we'll do like a little supplement. I don't know, in keeping with the theme of this episode, maybe a little side project, and I don't know, final tag some other stuff. I don't know. We'll see what we come up with. But
Y-
thank you everybody very much for watching that episode, and I hope the rest of our episodes can get that popular.
Well, speaking of Kiss records, and speaking of the fact that we are givers, we try to be givers. But I think we came up a little short last time because we forgot, we completely leapfrogged over the 21st love song.
Right.
We
So
promised people 21, we gave them 20, and nobody called us on it, but I'm calling us on it.
yeah. We figured that one out ourselves. In fact, I think I even mentioned it in the description of the episode on YouTube. First, look, before we talk about that though, I just want to say, can you believe the synchronicity of some of what we're doing here? Because I just really believe that Rip and Destroy and what we're doing here is meant to be. Because can you believe that the Valentine's Day the episode that was supposed to come out on Valentine's Day, right,
Hmm.
happened to be episode 21, and there just happened to be 21 Kiss songs with the word love in the title, and that dovetailed right in with the with Valentine's Day timing wise. And I'm saying, man, there's something going on here that I think is really meant to be, and I just believe that Rip and Destroy is just going to take over the world. As all signs point to yes, but
Agreed.
But the 21st Kiss song with love in the title that we forgot to talk about was a track off Monster called All for the Love of Rock and Roll. It is sung by Eric Singer, and I am pretty much just going to stick it right in the friendo zone. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. You?
I think the fact that we forgot to review it is in and of itself a review. I, I think it's a pretty good song with really dumb lyrics. Friend Ozone. There,
Yeah.
there it is.
Okay. There it is. There you go.
And scene.
And scene.
But before we get into the topic for today, there's a lot of really cool stuff happening in Kiss World. I wanted to get your thoughts on some current events because I saw that just last week, from when we're filming this, Gene Simmons' band did Strange Ways and they did Rocket Ride. And I don't even think Rocket Ride's ever been played live before, at least not from Kiss. Maybe Ace did it, but I thought that was a really cool tribute and wanted to get your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely did Rocket Ride live. It was on the Live Plus Four or Live Plus One, whatever that EP. I think Live Plus Four was a video, right? Live
Mhm.
Plus One was the EP. Anyways, yeah, he did do Rocket Ride live. But yeah, it's really interesting hearing that Gene did that, as well as Strange Ways. Both like awesome, awesome Ace Frehley written Kiss songs. I haven't watched any of the YouTube footage if it's out there, but I will definitely look it up. But I did see that they did that, and I think that's pretty cool.
And speaking of Uncle Gene, he also announced this week that he's doing the Legends Rock Expo in Las Vegas coming up later in September. So far, it's going to be kind of like a convention with signings and photo ops and panel interviews, kind of like horror conventions and stuff like that. But so far, Gene's been announced. He announced himself and Bruce Kulick and Dave Davies from the Kinks so far. And it's kind of funny to me because if I remember right, Gene specifically said that they needed to own the copyrights to all the makeup so that other guys couldn't go and do conventions in Kiss makeup. I'm pretty sure he said that at one point.
You know what? Gene says a lot of things. I don't particularly remember that one myself, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. But this is a pretty mighty big announcement, though. And if you watched the Vinyl Tag episode, y'all know why. And I don't know if we're gonna go. I don't know if I'm gonna go, but dude, you have to go.
You want to know why? I'll give you 11,395 reasons why I have to go to Vegas in September. That's how many days between July 16th, 1995, and the Saturday of this convention, which is September 27th. You've heard the story twice. If this thing gets signed, honestly, it's the last signature I need on a white vinyl Alive 3 that I got at the convention. You've heard it. And
No, show it again. Show it
oh,
again. It's worth
okay.
showing.
We'll do. We'll
Bust
do.
it out.
And honestly, it would be this is an epic saga, 30 years in the making.
One, two, three.
And then look at that, the big.
Big wide open space. Just waiting for a black Sharpie.
I don't even know what that would feel like, but it would be an episode as unto itself,
Uh-huh.
and I think I'm going to make it happen. You got to meet me there. Let's go.
You know what? I did I don't know if you talked to Nikki about it already.
Yep,
I You did, and she gave you the go ahead.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Christina gave me the go ahead if I want to go. So, it's all going to kind of depend. I mean, we've got a lot of other stuff going on this year. We'll have to do some figuring out, but there may have to be a Rip and Destroy episode live from Vegas come the end of September. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens.
That's amazing. We could do an episode in Vegas. I'll get to see you guys again. And while we're at it, if you go, then we could put it all on the Rip and Destroy Company credit card. So, hey,
Oh, hell, there you go, man. Expense the whole thing. I like it.
exactly. It's a tax write-off. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we don't have a credit card. If it
Okay,
did, if we did, it'd be maxed out already.
true story. And then if it was maxed out, we couldn't buy new Kiss patches, which
Yeah. Well, do you have to buy them or do you just win them by knowing things?
I'm sure you could probably buy them. It's trivia contests. They explained it on a video, and I don't really understand exactly how to win them or the gaming element to this. It was cool to see Gene and Paul do a Kiss trivia contest back and forth, but it's funny because I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, these are dumb. They look kind of stupid. They're kind of goofy. The only two records that got patches were Alive and Unmasked. And I don't know, I could go the better part of my entire week without wearing a unmasked patch. But they did it again. Damn it. Kiss does this to me every single time. Just when I think I'm done spending money on them, they hold up this one patch that says, "Ask me about Kiss." And I'm like, damn it to hell. I need that. I need that in my life. So here it is. It's my next $15 or whatever.
No, I think no, I didn't look at exactly what it is either, because why would we do any research for this fucking podcast? But um But no, I think what it is I think you can use like your email address and like log into the Kiss online website. I don't think you have to be like an official Kiss Army member or anything, but I think you can sign up for like yeah, for like a trivia game or something. And I think maybe if you win enough or something, I think maybe you get the patches. I don't know. We'll have to look into it. If anybody else has already signed up and done it or figured it out or whatever it is, drop a comment and let us know how it's going.
And was it kind of a small detail, but it stood out to me when Gene was talking about the Ace Frehley patch. They have the solo covers, so I guess those are album covers too on patches. And like everything else that comes out now, it says the Spaceman, but he called it the Ace Frehley patch, and I thought that was cool
Ah,
because
interesting.
who wouldn't?
They're lawyers, I guess, or Pop House. Somebody wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay, my last thought. A couple days ago, on February 17th, I saw Ghost at the Moda Center in Portland. It's my fifth time seeing them. They're an amazing live band. The show was absolutely insane, huge production. But there was something that happened at the end that I thought was really cool. Along the way, there's been some parallels back and forth between Ghost and Kiss. There's the imagery, of course. There's Year Zero kind of has an I Was Made for Loving You vibe to it that, they've even admitted is the case. And on their live album, Right Here, Right Now, that you can see the
Hmm.
back cover art exactly mirrors Kiss Alive as a little tribute. But at the very end of the show, again, the production was enormous for 2.5 hours. Great show, huge wraparound video screens and everything. But on the last song, Square Hammer, about halfway into it, coming down from the ceiling was the Ghost logo in light bulbs. It was a
Yes.
perfect tribute to Kiss. And it had to have been because it didn't make sense it didn't fit into anything else that was going on. This is the
Yeah.
the program.
Oh, dude,
And it was just such a cool tribute right at the very end. So I
that's
got a kick
great.
out of that.
Nice. You
Yep.
got a program too, huh? You got the tour book?
I did. Yep. I had
Sweet.
to actually go back and get it because I thought it was a poster. And then I
Oh,
saw somebody flipping through it. I'm like, well, shucks,
oh,
I need
gotta
that.
have gotta have a tour book.
Yep. Like usual, we didn't talk about this beforehand, so I'm not really sure what projects made your cut, which ones did or didn't. There's bands or solo stuff, but let's just dive in and see what gets covered and what doesn't. And we can start with the captain of the ship, Paul Stanley, who, of course, in '78 did the second best of all the solo records. And then I guess that takes us to about 2006 when he did Live to Win. So did you spend some time with that one and what'd you think?
Yeah, I heard Live to Win. I one of the things that I have to tell you is that I don't own a whole lot of these albums. I have kind of kept up on Ace's output. That's about it. I don't really own a whole lot of these, and Live to Win is another one that I do not own. I do remember listening to it right around the time it came out, or maybe a little bit after. Live to Win strikes me as kind of it's not very Kiss-like. It's almost this kind of odd like adult oriented rock kind of a thing where he just kind of sings a lot of songs about his feelings and that to me there's no real huge standout tracks. I'm not a huge fan of it and like I said it doesn't sound very Kiss like. It's a solid album I guess, but I don't really know who it's for. What do you think?
Pretty much the same, but I think I liked it more than you did. And I liked it more this time than I did when it came out. And I thought it was different, but it's just different enough to make sense as a solo project as opposed
Sure.
to, songs that sound like Kiss, which is kind of
Yeah.
what the '78 record was. And I think there are a couple standout cuts. I think Wake Up Screaming is great. I like the title track is it's very Paul, very,
Hmm.
inspiring. It's a good record. I liked it more than I thought I would, but I think I like it more when I compare it to the other albums we're going to be talking about today, with the
Sure.
exception of everything Ace Frehley did. When you compare it to a lot of the other solo projects, I think this is actually one of the better ones. And what came of it too was a really kick-ass tour with an amazing set list. So whether or not you explore Live to Win, I definitely encourage everybody to check out One Live Kiss because that was from that same tour. The band
Oh
was
yeah.
great and set list was great. It's definitely worth checking out.
Nice.
And speaking of stuff I liked a little more than I thought I would, Soul Station.
Ah, Soul Station, the Peter Criss solo album of Paul Stanley solo albums.
Dude, I kid you not, on my notes, if you skip ahead to One for All 2007, it says bold. You know what he should have done? Soul Station. True story.
Nice.
You know, nothing about this should work, but it kind of does, and I don't know why, and I'm not going to explore it. I liked it more than I thought I would again. There's no way you can not like these songs. It's all cover songs, of course, from, staples and classics. And when I saw the video for IOI, I'm like, that would have been a cool tour. I think it would have been a cool tour. And I think Peter would have sounded better on these songs, and I don't know why I liked it. Maybe I'll hate it again tomorrow, but it's worth a YouTube.
Yeah, and I think the reason that it works is just because these are great songs, and Paul's voice does work pretty well with them. But honestly, I listened to it and I was like, it's good, but given the choice, I would rather not hear Paul sing them.
True, true.
You know, I'd rather hear the originals. I mean, you've got, what, like Baby, I Need Your Lovin', and Let's Stay Together, and Could It Be I'm Falling in Love, all great soul classics. But part of me feels like it's akin to, Eric Clapton playing Robert Johnson. Just
Mm, mm.
leave,
Oh, I get. Ooh,
leave it to the masters, will you?
ooh. Yes. Oh, ouch. And it was a heavy lift too, because I mean these songs were sung by some of the best vocalists in music history, and
Yeah.
this came at a point in Paul's career when he did not have the strongest voice.
Hmm.
So to take it on at that point was ambitious, and I think my expectations were pretty low, which is probably why I like the record as much as I do, but
Yeah.
I don't own it.
No, no, I will totally give him props. He did pull it off. It is a good record, but it's a good record, I think, because the songs are great. So,
Speaking of, well, songs that are not great, let's jump over to Asshole. Okay,
look, just
wait.
call him by his name, Gene Simmons, okay?
So I said Soul
Oh, we're talking
Station.
about the album. I'm sorry.
Exactly. So on Soul Station, I said nothing about this should work, but it does. Asshole, everything about this should have worked, and it doesn't. This is not a good record. It's the complete opposite. And I'll start with the single Firestarter. Sounds like your dad singing karaoke at your birthday party, and it's not good. What do you think of Asshole?
Um, so overall, there's I think maybe two, three, four-ish good songs on that album. Again, that's another one that I did like a little bit more than I thought I would. The rest of it, I don't understand the purpose of it at all. I don't know what some of the songs in here, I'm like, really, Gene? Was the fire in your belly that strong that some of these had to be committed to fucking vinyl and come out? Really?
You're talking about Beautiful.
Yes, among others. But that being said, there are a couple of good Sweet and Dirty Love's a cool song.
Hmm.
Carnival of Souls is an interesting song. I'm left wondering if that's a leftover from Carnival of Souls that just didn't quite work because it wasn't like, moody and mopey enough. The song that he allegedly wrote with Frank Zappa, Black Tongue, I think is actually my favorite song on that album. Not just because I'm a big Zappa fan, but just because I think it's an interesting song. Then, of course, he's much like his 78 solo album. It's eclectic and there's all kinds of stuff that he's throwing at the wall to see what sticks. A lot of it doesn't. Look, I'm always going to say, as an artist, follow your heart, do what you want, but don't expect everybody to be on board.
Yeah. It would have fit in nicely on the vault, I think.
Probably. And you know what? That being said, I do like the song Firestarter. I like Prodigy. They're kind of one of my guilty pleasures. They're kind of insane, psychosomatic and insane. But yeah, I again, it's one of those things like, why did Gene pick that song to do? I don't get it. Maybe he loved the song and he just felt moved to do it, but I don't feel moved to listen to it unless it's on the Prodigy album.
And you said there was three or four good songs. I found Sweet and Dirty Love and Weapon of Mass Destruction, and that's about it for me.
Yeah, and Weapon of Mass Destruction was another one that was all right. Like I said, I like Black Tongue and Carnival of Souls was pretty good. That's probably about it.
I guess it really speaks to the chemistry of not just Kiss, but the chemistry of, Paul and Gene working together.
I think that's probably our final takeaway after we're done with this whole episode.
Yep. Yep.
So. Oh, actually, I do kind of like the title track too. It's kind of a fun song.
I liked it better when Dennis Leary did it. Okay, well, we've made our way to
I think
Peter.
we have to I
Yeah.
think we have to do this part now. Yeah.
I want to preface this segment by saying, in my heart of hearts, I love this man. He's a hero of mine. Meeting him was one of the great honors of my life. He inspired me to play drums and love music. And that said, let's explore the solo career of Peter Criss.
Let's. So he was being the first member of Kiss to split from the group. He released a couple of solo albums in the early 80s. What was it, about 80, 81, 82,
It
somewhere in
was
there.
it was Out of Control in 80 and Let Me Rock You came out in 82.
Yeah, and Let Me Rock You didn't even come out in America, so
Mhm.
that shows you how much interest there was in Peter Criss at the time. Unfortunately, I think both of these albums are largely kind of glossed over by Kiss fans. I will say that I listened to them both, and I will say actually that I think between the two of them, there's one good album of songs,
Okay.
and it's maybe pushing it. I think, for the most part, it kind of comes off like he's trying to do like some Billy Joel, Elton John kind of
Mhm.
pop music. There are a couple of rockin' songs on both records that, like I said, I think there's a small handful of decent songs on Out of Control. I think there's a few more decent songs on Let Me Rock You. I think actually that was the better of the two albums. I was
Mhm.
actually kind of surprised by that one. And I think you put them together, and I think you might have like a nice 30-minute collection of post Kiss Peter Criss. But I also am not surprised that they failed to make an impact when they came out.
And it's strange to me that Out of Control was the first one out of the gate. He was just fresh out of Kiss, and you'd think that he would have done something different than a kind of a soft rock disco record almost. It's more disco than Dynasty is.
Yeah.
And with Let Me Rock You, I just can't get over the fact that every picture from that record, the cover, the singles, it's just Pete coming out the shower. And that's it's a choice. It's a choice. So I totally agree with your assessment. I think between the two, you'd have a good album full of ballads and soft rock songs. A good Rod Stewart record.
Yeah, kind of. I'm not even talking about the ballad stuff because I feel like ever since Beth, he and Kiss decided that had to be like the ballad guy.
Yeah.
But as we've talked about before, I would much rather see him doing stuff like Baby Driver because that was kick ass. And his voice is really well suited to some screamy rock and roll. But I'd say there's a handful of good songs on the two of them. And then let's see, it was another 15 years or so until we were surprised at the radio station in college by a package from TNT Records, and it contained Chris Cat Number One. You
It
remember
could,
you remember that showing up in the mail?
do I remember this right here?
That's
I do.
that actual copy that that we had from the early 90s.
Yep, from 1990. Well, it came out in 1995. It's still sealed, which will tell you exactly how much airplay it got at the radio station. But I really, really wanted this and I couldn't find it anywhere. So something happened. And to this day, I don't know what really happened on that side of the phone. But we were just a tiny, tiny little college radio station in Wisconsin. But I called TNT Records and I said, I can't get a hold of this. Can I buy one? And he said, hang on a second. And we heard a little voice from across the room say, send him one. And I'm like, was that Pete?
I remember
Was
that.
that Pete?
I
And
remember that.
I'm embarrassed to say I didn't open this because I thought it was signed for real. It's not. They all have the little signature on there. But now this is a step in the right direction. You're talking about Peter singing gritty rock and roll. It took him two, three records, but he got there. This is not a bad listen.
No, I agree. It's still not 100% listenable as far as I'm concerned. It's not 100% there, but yeah, it's definitely, like I said, a step in the right direction. And there's some decent stuff on there. It's a lot edgier than his previous stuff.
Right? I give it a friend ozone.
Yeah,
Say,
maybe a friend ozone with benefits. I fuck with it a little bit.
one for all.
Oh God. Unfortunately, we had to come to this point in the podcast. We knew it was coming. One for
Uh,
all. Let's see. So the title is misleading because I do not believe it is one for all. This is one for the dumpster, maybe. It is one for, uh, uh, it, it is one for
it's
a critical review. It is one for,
one for the cutout, Ben.
there you go. All right, you
Oh,
win. Oh
it
God.
it opens with a ballad, and I don't know that I've seen that anywhere else. but that'd
Doesn't it
be
also close with a ballad and mostly contain 100% ballads? It's
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I mean now the record sucks, but at least it's got a terrible cover.
That it does.
Ugh, Pete, bro,
Oh man,
this was yeah, and coming out. When did this come out? Like 2006 or something like that?
2007.
Who asked for this?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's yeah.
mm. Uh, but I think Peter's gonna finish strong. I
I think
gotta
so.
I, I gotta confess, I haven't found the record anywhere yet. They're not streaming it on Spotify, and they're doing a really good job of keeping it off of YouTube.
hmm
I've heard maybe two songs so far. I've really liked both of them. How much have you heard?
So I found a little hack, and I don't know that I should actually mention this, but I will say that I have not picked it up either. And of course, we're talking about Peter Chris's relatively new self-titled rock and roll record that came out last fall, I believe, in
Hmm.
some was like October 2025, sometime around Halloween, I think.
Yep.
Um, so that dropped. It came out in three variants. There's a black one, a white one, and a silver one. My local record shop, Eroding Winds, did actually get it when it came out. I did see all three variants. I didn't pick it up. I actually went like a week or two ago and I was thinking about picking one up, but they didn't have any in stock. I'm sure they can probably still order me one if I want one. That being said, little PSA for you. If you're looking for a record, don't order it from Amazon. Have your local record store special order it for you. Support the local record stores, please. That being said, I haven't picked it up, but I did find a little workaround. And yeah, it's not on YouTube. It's not streaming on Spotify. It's not on Bandcamp where he was selling it, which by the way, that was a whole nother thing. Remember, he was selling it for like $1,000. He
Yeah.
really, and he came out and he's like, I'm selling it for $1,000 because I don't want you to buy it on Bandcamp. I want you to go buy the record, please. Which I think is actually pretty cool.
Well,
So
that's why Vinny's doing it. I mean,
look, it pro I wouldn't doubt it if Pete sold a couple at $1,000. All right.
yep.
Vinny, I'm pretty sure didn't sell shit, but we'll talk about Vinny a little bit later. But no, I found this funny little workaround, and I don't even know if we want to talk about it. But okay, so if you're on Instagram and you make a reel or even any kind of a post and you pick background music for your post, all of the tracks from Peter Chris's new album are on there to select.
Okay.
Now, you can't put more than 45 seconds of any song on one of your reels, but you can get at least a 45 second. You can scan back and forth and listen to all the songs on Peter Chris's new album in 45-second chunks, should you have the time to fuck with that. Now, it's kind of ridiculous, but that's the only way I've actually heard any of this record. And I'm gonna say it's probably up there with Cat number one. I think it's a fairly solid rock record. I'd buy one just to support Pete. I don't know how much I'm gonna listen to it once I get one, but you know what? I'm proud of him and happy that he made something new.
Agreed. 100%. I'm in. I want to buy this as soon as I can get my hands on it. I'm in.
Yeah.
Good job, Pete.
All right.
Well, the next couple are kind of, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it because we did a whole bonus episode covering the entire career of Ace Frehley. And we also have episode 19 covering just about everything Vinny's ever done or did and didn't release or may not have done. So, so with Ace and Vinny, I didn't spend a whole lot of time preparing for this episode, but did you have some thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't really prepare a whole lot either because I'm very familiar with Ace's catalog, as much of Vinny's as we have actually access to. I Ace, I think, has continued to be, the superstar of the solo efforts. I remember being in 1986, being 12 years old and being super excited for Frehley's Comet to come out. That was a great record. Second Sighting was not so great. That was, like I mentioned, it's kind of the Crab Rangoon of Ace Frehley records. It's an Ace Frehley record without a lot of Ace Frehley on it. Then he came back with Trouble Walking, which is, I mean, God, that might be his best solo record outside of 78. So yeah, if we just do the rundown, then after Trouble Walking, he took a long hiatus. Anomaly was good. Space Invader, I love. After that, I think they kind of started to fall off for me a little bit. The Origins records are fun. Again, not necessary because I'm not a huge fan of covers, but he does a really good job on some of them, and it is always fun to hear a cover filtered through Ace. And then what was Spaceman the next one? Yes, I think Spaceman was the next one. That one left me a little flat, and unfortunately, so did 10,000 volts. But I always admired the fact that he was continuing to be prolific and at least making the effort to put out new music. And I think really, as far as like I said, as far as all of the solo efforts of all of the Kiss members, former and current, I think Ace was really the superstar of all of them.
Well, at the bottom of my notes, in bold, bigger letters, highlighted in blue, it says Ace won. Ace won.
That's
He
all you
did.
got to say.
He won again. He won in '78, and looking back on his whole solo career, he killed it.
Yeah, kind of true. I mean, I would listen to, yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I'll listen to any of the Ace solo records before I will listen to Live to Win or Asshole or All for One, or One for All, that's for sure. Yeah, Ace won.
There's one more we need to take a look at, and that is Rockology from Eric Carr.
Well, there's two. There's Rockology and there's Unfinished Business.
Yeah, well, I think Rockology was also unfinished. I think they should have just called it what it was, and that's, demos, outtakes. It's disheartening to fire up something you think is going to be a record and it's just ideas. It's Heavy Metal Baby is nothing but him scat soloing what he think the lyrics might sound like, and he deserves better. It's interesting to listen to, but it's not a record. But one big takeaway from that is from both of them actually is that I really wish he had written more in Kiss. I think there's a lot of potential there. But if you're going to release something that's an idea or half baked, at least let people know.
Yeah, and I don't know that they didn't. I don't know that fans didn't go into this knowing that it was a bunch of kind of demos and sketches. As far as both of them are concerned, Rockology and Unfinished Business, I think they're a pair. You can't really say that one's better than the other. And the tracks on them are varying degrees of finished. So you've got some real rough kind of homemade stuff, and you've got some stuff that is actually pretty polished, including like his own version of All Hell's Breaking Loose, which, in some of those things, I don't know if that's one of those copyright things where you have to record a song in order to like retain the copyright or the publishing rights or the songwriting credit or something. I don't know. That's above my pay grade, but some of those songs are pretty good. And then there's other songs like his version of Shandy on Unfinished Business. If you've heard that one, it's like so the guitar is really cool. It's kind of like an acoustic guitar version, like on a 12 string, and the playing is really good. But boy, his voice is not for that song. Let me tell
Hmm.
you, he does not really pull that off. But then there are a couple other ones that are pretty interesting, like Eyes of Love. I think it's kind of an interesting song. I kind of like that one. But yeah, between the two of them, well, they're unfinished business, and you have to treat them as such. But as far as Kiss collectors artifacts, I think they're interesting, but not essential.
Definitely interesting. And anything with Eric on it has my attention.
So if we are talking chronologically, then I guess we do have to arrive at Vinnie Vincent, don't we?
We do. We do.
We do.
He made an impression. I,
Certainly.
I mean,
And I mean, he made enough of an impression, obviously, that 2 episodes ago we did the Vinnie F. and Vincent episode. So we did talk about this pretty extensively. So I don't think we're going to talk about it too much more. But, his two solo records with his band, the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, which was self-titled, and then also All Systems Go. And then he came out with an EP called Euphoria. Pretty much ever since then, everything he's released, tried to release, attempted to release, maybe did or did not release. Has pretty much all just been a lot of working tracks and demos and stuff like that. But I will say that, like we mentioned on the episode, he, like I said, he made an impression and he had his own style and his own voice. And when he was on fire, he was on fire. But also, I mean, you can you can really taste the crazy coming through also. So I don't so
taste the
depends on
crazy.
so it depends on how much of an appetite for said crazy you have as to whether or not I want to recommend Vinny's solo output, and also how much you're willing to spend, and how hard you're willing to look for it.
So back then when these were coming out in real time, did you write them off because they were super glam, or Were you into some glam bands? I was.
No, this was what, 86, 87, maybe. So at that time in my life, that was where heavy metal was going. I mean, that's what the new stuff was kind of glam. I mean, it was Poison and Rat and some of that great stuff. And it was maybe the next year or so that I decided that I needed something harder, and I started getting into, Anthrax and Testament and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely, this was on my radar when it came out, and I did like it because I was a Kiss fan, and I always did like his kind of crazy, insane playing style, and kind of his noise and his the cacophony and what have you. But yeah, I did like this when it came out too. I do remember that.
I did too. It made, like I said, it made an impression. Huge wig, a lot of pink. The video, the silhouette, the playing, the microphone, guitar techniques. I got a hold of it as soon as I could, and I liked it. I didn't love it,
Yeah,
but I was always a fan of Vinnie anyway. And
yeah,
I was excited to see what he did with it.
yep. Do you want any more thoughts on Vinnie Vincent? Back up a couple episodes, and you can have them all. So then I think after this, we're going to move into Bruce Kulick's solo output. He did three records: Transformer, Audio Dog, and BK3. Transformer, as we mentioned, is getting a re-release on Record Store Day this year with a new cover that looks like Crazy Nights. It's really cool. I did listen to all three of these in the name of research. I mean, I was very excited to hear them. I didn't hear them when they came out. They were kind of off my radar a little bit, and I wasn't even aware of them until maybe a few years ago. And I can tell you that of his three records, there's a definite progression on all three. So Transformer, his first one, it's a fairly solid rock record, but it sounds like a rock and roll record made by a really nice guy. And that's what Bruce is. We all know he's a super nice dude, but it doesn't have a whole lot of snarl or edge or attitude to it. There's really good songwriting, but ironically, the thing that's really missing from this Bruce Kulick solo record is a lot of lead guitar. If I want a Bruce Kulick record, I want to hear some shredding, man. I want to hear
Mhm.
him go off and wail, and he does not do that on Transformers. So it's a little bit. It's a nice record. It's a nice rock record. Then when you get to Audio Dog, all of my complaints about Transformer were pretty much addressed. It's more aggressive. There's a lot more lead playing. It's a lot more interesting. And then when you get to BK3, he's balls out, and it's a great record. Actually, BK3 is what you want from a Bruce Kulick record. I can highly recommend that one. All three of them do have some really good songs on them, though, so I recommend checking those out.
I'm gonna have to copy off your assignment because I did not do my homework on Bruce's solo records. I'm a lot more familiar with the stuff he did with Union and with the Eric Singer Project,
Hmm.
ESP, which I never understood why it was called the Eric Singer Project when you also had Bruce Kulick in the band and you had John Corabi in the band. But it is what it is. And both of those projects to me were just straight up rock and roll. I love to see those Union records re-released. I'd like to have them on vinyl. I think that John Corabi was fantastic. I think that he was too good for Motley Crue, to be honest.
Mhm.
I think prior to that, like maybe the first or second Crue records were okay, but otherwise, his is the only one I'd even listen to at this point. I think he was a really talented guy in a not so talented band there. But I wish Union had accomplished more than they did or toured more than they did, but I think that's some of his best work. Bruce's.
Yeah. So yeah, Bruce made a pretty good showing after Kiss too, and I hope he does more.
If we do go to Vegas, and all signs do point to yes, do we want to do a little meetup?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
I think,
yeah, absolutely. If anybody else is going to the Gene Simmons Legends of Rock meetup, meet and greet, convention, whatever this thing is called, yes, definitely track us down. We'll hang out, we'll have beers, we'll go to Kiss World, whatever we need to do. I think that's an open invitation for anybody else going to the Gene Simmons Legends of Rock, what have you. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
man, now we have to go. Let's do this. Let's do this. Well, unless you want to talk about White Tiger, that's going to do it for today.
I do not. Do you?
I do not.
Okay.
So, with that, if you'd like to leave a comment, there's a lot of different places you can do that. If there's something you'd like to hear us talk about, if you'd like to correct me on something I got wrong, please do. You can leave a comment on Spotify, on YouTube, on Instagram. Wherever you look, you'll find us under Rip and Destroy Podcast, and we'd love to hear from you.
That's right. It's Rip and Destroy Podcast on Instagram. Drop us a line at rip and destroy podcast at gmail.com. Let us know what your favorite Kiss solo projects are. And hey, if you've got a cool solo project, let us know about that too. We'll check yours out.
See you in Vegas.
See ya.
Kill the power, Phil. Kill the power.